I've got some questions for Matt Iseman, like many of you do. Some I'm afraid he cannot answer because it takes some explaining to do, but he is going to attempt to answer some of yours. Some fun, some lighthearted, some a little bit more serious than others. Yeah, a lot of people want to know you travel a lot, you go all over the place.
A ton.
Favorite destination?
Yeah, this was a really hard question. There's so many wonderful places I've been, but the place that jumped to the top of the list was Australia, particularly Sydney. In a single day, I went there. I went jet boating in the Sydney Harbor with the Opera House right there. And then I was on top of the Sydney Tower.
You are.
Are you wearing sunblock?
This is the lesson. Oh, here I am with a new friend, a kangaroo. Which, incidentally, later we had kangaroo that day. The kangaroos are like cows, but it was a little awkward. I felt like I ate my new friend.
Oh, no.
But it was so beautiful.
That's a wallaby.
That is a wallaby?
Yeah, the littler ones.
Well, I need to go back and do a little more studying. So here I am atop the Sydney Tower doing my best David Lee Roth impression.
Wow.
850 feet up above Sydney. It was absolutely gorgeous. And then I ended up today in Bondi Beach, one of the most beautiful beaches I've ever been to, splashing around, avoiding sharks. But it was spectacular. And even better, the people in Australia are so friendly. It was fantastic.
I do. The time that I've spent down under is wonderful.
Yeah.
People are fantastic.
All right.
Okay.
We have a question from Geraldine Barrett. She says, my mom is suffering with a compression fracture at L1. It'll be a few more weeks before her appointment with the doctor. Is there anything I can do or she can do to ease some of her pain and get through the next few weeks?
This is a really tough time, and it's a common question I get. And the first thing you do is you use pain medication. If you can't get a prescription from a doctor, then you can use Aleve. But just remember, even if she starts feeling better, this doesn't mean that the damage is going away. So the next thing you want to do, which is very important, is decrease activity. You want to give the bone a chance to heal. If you talk to your doctor, one of the things they'll do to help immobilize it and give that bone a chance to recover is use a brace. It's the same way when you isolate an arm. You just don't want it to be moving so that the bone can have a chance to set. And the last thing to do is a doctor will, surgery is something that's surprisingly not that common. So the good news is if you decrease activity, use a little pain management to get through in the short term, by and large, chances are she'll recover and make a full return and then be back to competing on American Ninja Warrior.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
Smooth, because that's a transition into the next question. You write your own stuff, don't you? What is your favorite American Ninja moment or Ninja Warrior moment?
This is a really tough question to answer because I got to say, it's such a pleasure to get to watch everyone compete. And we
Remind
had
everybody
Casey.
how many season you're in now.
We're in season 7 right
There's
now.
a lot of moments.
Unbelievable moments. And last year, I think probably the best known moment is Casey Catanzaro being the first woman to complete it. And I get chills every
Who's
time
been
I
here,
watch
by the
it.
way, on our show.
Yeah.
She's fantastic. But I will say this year we had the greatest moment we've ever had. It was a guy named Michael Stanger, who married with 2 kids. His wife was diagnosed with a very rare condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, where the cartilage in your joints begins to degenerate. So she was confined to a wheelchair. He ended up having to start to take care of her, and he found he couldn't carry her up the stairs. He wasn't strong enough. So he started working out to take care of his wife. And through that, he discovered American Ninja Warrior. Her condition is unclear. They're not sure how much longer she has to live. And she said, you know, you've sacrificed so much for me. I want you to go compete on American Ninja Warrior. So he came out to Kansas City, camped out for 8 days, and he was literally the last person to get on the course. And we're finding out this information as he's on the course. I'm reading this story. We see on the sidelines along the course, his wife is in the wheelchair with their 2 daughters. And I'm just reading this, and you realize this is this incredible love story. He gets to the top of the warp wall. He completes the course, and he's looking at her going, I love you. And he's just like, I just want to see her smile. And she's smiling, and tears are pouring down her face. And it's just one of those moments where I'm tearing up in the booth, and I'm like, this is the greatest job of all.
Let's take a look at
look
this.
at it.
Wow.
This is Michael Stanger. He waited in the walk-on line 8 days to run this course. And he's doing it for his wife, Anadina. She has a terminal illness, and quite frankly, they don't know how much longer she has.
There were points where she couldn't even breathe. She was diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It was maybe 6 or 7 months later. She was in a wheelchair.
Well, we have no idea how well he'll do here, but what a story. Michael waited in the walk-on line, wasn't even sure if he'd get to run.
This is out of a movie. What a tremendous moment. Anadina cheering him on. Her husband 14 feet away from realizing a tremendous dream. There it is. He's done it. There it is. Are you kidding me? Michael Stanger right there. Hits the buzzer.
Wow.
I'm tearing up again. gets me every time. Seeing her, the smile on her face was just one of the greatest moments.
You know what? That you found the best moment.
Yeah.
I have to say. I mean, they're all great,
Every
but-
time I look at,
Yeah.
I've watched that probably 100 times, and every time it gets me.
Well, thank you so much for your questions. We still have another moment about to happen here that may bring tears to your eyes, because when we come back, we're going to go outside and listen to Calabro sing once again. Don't go.